last run of the year, especially if something comes up. Thanks for the GGs. Yeah, I always, as long as I'm likely to finish before 2 a.m. my time, I like to do tournaments. Games like this. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm US Central Time. That sounds about right. I mean, 2 is... I mean, the Ice Armor is pretty significant. Or... Well, I mean, 4 wasn't executed that great in my new PB. Same for 5, really, because I do some extra helicopter layers for safety. So excited to death. It's good to know, though, where the big time saves are. Hey, Dancing Magus. Of course, I got the big gem drop when it didn't matter, too. Yeah, well said. Getting like a 10 drop, oops, where am I going? Like in the tutorial room or one of the first fights would be really nice. Like I said, that's something that would make it really hard for me to have motivation to try to grind for like sub 140 as the gem drops. Getting bad gem drops in a couple places is very costly when you're at top level. I was watching El Magus run yesterday, and I think at one of his splits for World 4 he lost like almost a minute purely because of gem drop luck. I feel like it does matter in this world too, like more snipes you can do with the fireballs up. But yeah, I having to do stuff like fight bats or vampires without magic is probably things that can happen in the run. Listen to my story. It's chanced. God will never know. Yes he does. This game was made by the same developers as ActRaiser around the same time. Overlapping sound effects. And the HUD at the top of the screen is basically the same. But go hog wild with fireballs. They don't get hit again because they don't. Ah, it's concerning. Save for this fight. Okay. Hesitated a little bit there to kill that guy, but I didn't die. Really? I'm saving time. That felt like a worse played underground castle than usual. Though I guess it was the big jump drop at the start of the painting that kind of salvaged it, because then I was able to just run a fireball spraying spree of destruction in the torch room. I really should have lost time on that with just a couple mistakes here and there in the underground castle. I'm not expecting this to be an all golds run again. Hey, wondering where the third one was, if it went totally off screen. Time save for shrine. Terrible, Oh no, it's a fun run, it's just, I only really run it around the time of year that we do the annual Never Hate Memorial Race. This is a pretty casual speed game for me by my standards, mostly just because I don't practice it offline at all. Not really Uber buses. Totally sure what the optimal movement pattern around this room is for Ice Armor Route. Just minimize damage from the scorpions. Up against a really good Lizard Lair in PvE too. Let's make it to the last bridge. That was just me all the way down. Hopefully, already having killed these guys somewhat makes up for the really bad first Lizard layer. Probably unintentionally that the whole stump stream thing there foreshadows the ending to Terra Enigma. galleries, I call it. Snapshot. Snipe. Still a decent lizard. Yeah, I know how that goes. Sometimes the perchance to dream is still a bit of... If I gotten close to sub 150 tonight, well, check out the new splits I'm running against and see. Yeah, this next is awful. Sub 30. Still a gold split though. Well, we'll just pretend that didn't happen as far as the lightning statue getting off script. If you think that's fast, you should see the quick kill, which I don't go for because I can't do the blue head manipulation reliably enough. Or just watch really anybody with a faster time than me as far as seeing the Lionhead rat. I mean, as far as I know, before I pick this up for the first Ever Hate Memorial race. There were no other strats for the for that fight besides besides the quick kill. Either get that or you die. So yeah, since I couldn't do the quick kill consistently, I made up my own strat for the blue and red heads that I find way easier. They're one up there for some reason. Honestly, I do kind of feel like that's the one thing that's missing from the current like guide and tutorial resources for Soul Blazer is a beginner-friendly lion head strat. Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine trying to record a video of my noob strat for the fight if it's an update to the stuff. One thing I would need to check though is if my firehead strat actually works at all if you skip the ice armor, which I mean to be fair, if you're skipping the ice armor you really shouldn't be doing anything other than the quick kill, but strat I use, it hits you twice and then it's free after that. Third. Underestimating how many jellyfish are in that one. Have I ever played Blade Lord? No, although I do want to. It's on my short list for upcoming RPG playthroughs. It took an extra rotation to set it up. I think I'd probably like that too. That does sound like a cool game about about setting off alarm clocks or something, right? Hey, Daniel Mesh. Hey, Killer MC. Hey, Solid Goo. Back here. That was some unnecessary damage. Probably not. It's really one of my favorite speed games. It's got so many categories. I mean, I do like to rotate through my my kind of stronger speed games to avoid burnout. I felt like I pushed it pretty hard with FF6 last year, so I'm on break at the moment. Almost everything that's in my PB table at the bottom of the stream is likely to return at some point, although the PlayStation era stuff a bit less so. The only one of those games that I realistically expect to do much more with is Final Fantasy IX, and even then it would just be doing a couple runs with the new route to try to is close to 9 hours, if not sub 9. It's exactly the same amount of health I had going into the lava last run. Probably. I don't know about FF5. It does have some newer strats that look kind of cool, but the step routing for that game is really, really rough. It's very difficult, very unforgiving, and I don't really feel like the payoff is there quite as much as in like FF4 or FF6 too. Just because, in those games, it feels satisfying to pull off the step manipulation because I'm doing stuff like getting a perfect river, avoiding getting nasty encounters that could pincer attack me, avoid like Vic Bats potentially, and I almost forgot the Thunder Ring. But in FF5, it's just all you're doing is just saving a boatload of time from getting less encounters that mean nothing other than the time to get in and out of them and run away. Because once you have Thief, you can run from anything for free without any danger. Seconds to that oopsie there. So I didn't make it all the way to Bluster without Thunder Ring. Any rip. I do enjoy playing FF5 once a year for the 4-job fiesta. For this year, I'd like to try Clear Tonic and Friends, new ROM hack. Shortens a lot of the cutscenes along with quality of life improvements. At some point, I do need to actually learn some new games if I want to actually have something to submit to RPG Limit Break next year. Ideally, SGDQ as well. Couple ideas, but nothing too concrete yet. Well, I don't have a Switch for starters, and also I think I'm gonna be good on Octopath Traveler for a while after doing the Galdera run this year. Yeah, Octopath Traveler is literally the only Switch-only game that exists right now that I'm interested in. It'll probably change once the Link's Awakening HD comes out this year. Well, I've seen speedruns of it already. I mean, it's basically Bravely Third. Yeah, LADX DX or LADX squared. Yeah, I mean, just from watching the first trailer, it looks a lot like Link Between Worlds, only with Link's Awakening instead of Link Past. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Not really. If I wanted to play Breath of the Wild, I could play it on Wii U because I have a Wii U. But from watching stuff, Breath of the Wild stuff, it really doesn't look like my kind of game as far as being more of like a Elder Scrolls style game than it's based around like dungeons and adventuring, like traditional Zeldas. Honestly, the only Zeldas that exist right now that I haven't played and want to are the Oracle games. Be big and try to without that heal. Probably, I mean, the boss is still gonna kill me in 2 hits, regardless. Losing a little health. Ouch. Really? Well, glad I at least unsealed it. That's the very, very start of that fight that always makes me... I'm not in a good cycle with the hands yet. Well, that wouldn't have been a gold if I hadn't died, but I would have still been ahead for sure. And the hands and the skull are both in kind of rough patterns at the same time. Okay, now it's pretty free. Well, that was unfortunate, but PB is very much still possible. Yeah, I don't expect to enjoy the Oracle games if I play them as much as Link's Awakening, just for nostalgia reasons, but fun. By doing an 80% run and a 100% run, if you mean of this game, no. I have no interest in the 100% category for this game. It's dealing with the very start of the giant skull fight. Does still trip me up if I get a trolley pattern from the hands. I can very, very easily get back ahead after this next world, just because the start sucked pretty badly in the PB. Took way too much damage from the snowballs, and then had to fight some of the gargoyle bats very slowly to avoid dying. I think the 100% run of this is maybe like an hour or so longer than any percent. I've never actually watched a 100% run, but just based on the definition, it just sounds like just kind of filling out lists for their own sake rather than because it's actually fun to do, as far as just lots and lots more monster layers. Well, I'm actually in good shape now, thanks to that big drop. Let's fight on the next screen. Oh, and that's without the lucky blow, too. Illusion of Gaia, on the other hand, 100% is the only category that interests me, just because it's only about 10-ish minutes longer, and by and large, the extra stuff you do for 100% is fun to me. Do some cool movement and combat. Back to Link's Awakening, I do feel like it succeeded a lot as far as telling its story with the limitations of the Game Boy. Like even just like little things like the cutscene where you first find out that you're in a dream, go to the face shrine, I think is very well done. Having just very kind of creepy music and. Hey, you could say that I've technically done a 100% Escapegoat 2 run, segmented. And like, I'd have to pull up my file to check the in-game time, but some number of hours, probably around 10 or so. Should save that lure for this part just to get the. They got me by with the S trap. A lot of the no homers club. Would get, I'm sure, still here. I actually equipped the magic armor. Yeah, the icicles and well, technically the background layer, I think, are a very cool touch. For being a actually fairly early Super Nintendo RPGA do this game very well for its style. That was a little messier than last run. Still definitely ahead after a better slope. Alright, not a bad slope. I guess other than just taking it really, really cautiously with the snow moose for the gem fairy. An oddly random set of monsters to be guarded. Snail. Hey, Nitro done. Insert response to greeting. Hey, P-Dog. Seeing in minutes. Glad I checked for that. P for Poexel. SDA timing for this, so it doesn't actually matter what single letter you pick for your name. Even if I hadn't died to the skull, I think I would have still lost a bit of time there. Gold train continues. So as long as I can keep pace through Leo's lab, I can get for a bit of time in Magrid Castle. Get a death in the left tower along with 9 dives on Storm Eagle. Hey, Drumboardist. I did. Came in 6th place out of 13. My race time was 7 minutes faster than last year's race. Hey, super good. Well, I always tell people if you're interested at all in just doing a playthrough of this, A Memory of Ever Hate, feel free. It doesn't necessarily have to be a kind of quote-unquote official race whenever that happens. race ever actually happens on a date that I'm not able to stream, I'll do something in my own time then. 3 hours is no slouch for a pretty casual run. My first one was at 2:42. With stopping a lot to look at notes. How do I like Dragon Quest XI? I like it a lot. Played it last October. What's it called? Platinum Trophy. First and only time I've tried actually skipping this helicopter fight. It didn't work well. I think we'll just need to be some offline practice for that to happen. I can't actually. Oh, I can. I've actually never played Dragon Quest VIII. I just somehow managed to totally miss that it ever came out. If I ever do play it, it'll be the 3DS version. Sure. Give yourself a good one, Willis. Yeah, your replacement is here. I eagerly await whatever kind of shenanigans you guys have planned for Limit Break this year. host the hook. Cute Sparkster spray. Yeah, I got that in the last run, despite a somewhat costly death in the Magrid Castle. This run I did a somewhat costly death to the St. L's boss, but still in there. Plus 9 dives. Wondering if I was gonna crack double digits for the first time. If I ever played Dragon Quest VIII, it'll be on 3DS, just because the game itself is a bunch of quality of life improvements. Get what's coming to you. I think I've already taken too much damage to skip the pre-Tyndall heal. That was some unnecessary turret. I would have died if I hadn't actually equipped the light armor. Save time here. Close though. At Magrid Castle can still save it. What? Yeah, would have saved a little bit if not for shenanigans in the power plant. But yeah, between not dying in the left tower and getting better luck on Storm Eagle, I think I can save a minute or so in every castle. It's gonna need to be really good in order to have a shot at 148, I would say. Running a game at RPG Limit Break? No. I didn't even actually submit any games this year. My strongest speed games at present were in last year's marathon. Ivan, thank you very much for the host, sir. Hey, Ivan, thank you very much for the host. It's going decently. I did have a death in St. L's, but I'm up against a pretty bad Magrid Castle split, so definitely still in the game. You up to some Newtopia tonight, or something different? I don't even actually know what to offer to commentate this year, just because most of the games in the marathon this year that I know pretty well just are already taken care of, as far as like the runners bringing their own commentary. It's A-okay. It's a good problem to have too many people interested in commentating runs than not enough. I've heard the same thing, Amazing Toaster. I didn't actually submit any games to this year's Limit Break. Both of my strongest speed games were in last year, Up 6 and Chrono Trigger, and just didn't feel like I had anything else that was worth submitting. Hopefully I'll figure out something new to learn to submit next year. I have a couple like vague ideas, but nothing concrete yet. I am, yes. I was very pleasantly surprised to see CT get into SGDQ. I will be going back to that next weekend, most likely. I can get one more Soul Blazer PB to cap off the year. Nice. Yeah, that's gonna be a really sweet race. That's what you and commentate or on hosting. This is where I died in PB. Hey, Palmer, thanks for the raid, too. Doing that wacky Final Fantasy game you've been doing lately. Right, I both didn't die and have plenty of health going into or Well, I do want to get back to FF4 sometime later this year, probably after SGDQ. In the actual game, not free enterprise. Let's get a PB with the new Rosa leveling route, and if my interest sustains, maybe finally try to do a run of the Japanese version glitchless. No. Nobody really runs vanilla FF4 right now. Free Enterprise has killed it pretty decisively. Which is the direction this game is going to. Oh yeah, I mean, Free Enterprise is the only randomizer that interests me, which says a lot. Might try out for the next Zemus Zone League, depending on when it is. But I do want to be a normal game again, too. Yeah. Still cracks me up that when I walked into the smaller practice room last year and saw it filled with people playing FF4, I immediately assumed it was Free Enterprise instead of the normal game. I hadn't actually played Free Enterprise yet at the time, so I would have known better, given that there were a lot of people in the Red Wings cutscene, which isn't a thing in Free Enterprise. Oh yeah, I've heard there's a special April Fool's seed on the loose, too. Wary of that. Well, there goes PB, I think. Although, even though that's not super bad death, I just couldn't get on the right tile for the boomerang shredders. Maybe that's not RIP PB if Storm Eagle is kind, just because, I don't know, that's probably actually an even less costly death than what I had in PB. I'd heard of Free Enterprise before last year's Limit Break solely because of seeing Niram and Rivers streaming it round the clock while it was in beta. Well, this is going to be kind of a crappy upper floor tower because of not having gems. Just need to go for it and trust that it's if I'm on the right column, it won't hit me. It wasn't that bad for having jumps. That is a very scary thought. Well, I have heard on good authority that Puexelmus is actually a Zeroma sprite, although probably not the Puexelmus you'd expect. Okay, so I feel like I'm probably about even with the PB right now. I can gain a little bit of time if I have a better Storm Eagle fight, but I think 148 is pretty good at this point after that death. That was a little less costly of a death than the left tower in my PB. Would I run DQ11 PC? Probably not. For the same reason I'll probably never run Final Fantasy X. I like the game and the speedrun's cool, but I don't like it quite enough to want to do a 10+ hour speedrun of it. one dive. Nice. Are you serious? A gold split with a death? Man, don't have much time to see this world. I mean, that's all thanks to Storm Eagle, of course, giving me a one dive pattern. Yep. Well, I guess the 148 dream is still alive if I have a solid, Well, I mean, I died in this segment. I mean, this isn't going to be that hard of a goal to beat. Just need to not die and then get a good Storm Eagle fight. Easy. Yeah, death is less costly than RNG. Confirmed. Well, the nice thing about my current job is that since I work from home, I can telecommute. I might need to do some work from the hotel, but I should. With the super boost. Let's not almost die in the first section of the world this time. Bet there's only 2 spawns here. Actually, I don't need gems for the rest of this. I did actually equip the armor this time. That's a silly mistake. console blade first. That was messy. Oh, I do have a little bit to save on to finding the finding one of the suns faster. It's always this one I have trouble finding. Nope. Hasn't been since 2015. You find it funny that the soul armor lets you breathe in outer space, but not underwater. suboptimal. Ah! My way, dancing grandmas. I think from this point it's mostly going to come down to costly that slop with the giant space mosquitoes was. Yeah, phase 1 is bus. Bad legs, so good. Hey! Like a 148.55. Nice, nice. About almost exactly 4 minutes of PBs in one night. Yeah, Tina called it. 48. Of course, we'll watch the ending since it's last run of the night and a new PB, but somebody to host up after that. Next weekend, planning to get back to Chrono Trigger since that got accepted to Summer Games Done Quick. Pleasant surprise. A couple possible reroute ideas I've gotten from watching Japanese runners that I'd like to experiment with too. It's like some slight changes to ordering of the Faded Hour quests. I am also working on an RNG manip route for which this 100% too, although as of now, at least I'm not planning to use it for SGDQ. It's because I'd rather have it be a nice chill run where I don't need to have a huge wad of notes in front of me for relation scripts for bosses and stuff. Just like the last run, though, I think that even if I hadn't died in Magrid Castle, that still would not have been a 147. Although if this had been totally deathless, at least unintended deaths, probably would have been a 147, just because I died to the St. L's boss and Chess Knights, and so probably roughly about a minute in total, if not a little more. GG's are back. So unless either it strikes my fancy or a special occasion or something comes up, this is probably going to be it for Soul Blazer for me until next year's BL Ender Blame Ever Hate race. Yeah, next year I'll start looking into the Ice Armor skip route. Tighten up a few of my boss fights too, like the St. L's boss, which I had a death to in this run. Still don't really know what I'm doing with the start of the fight when the hands are right in my face. Same time the skull sends. Other than the ice armor and just a couple doing safer strats for a couple fights, I feel like the main safety detours I'm making is getting extra gem chests. Which are really that costly. Yeah, I am aware that the hands have random health, which makes them noxious. Hey, what do you do if the hands are in your face right when the skull's about to descend for the first time? Do you just kind of hope for a low health hand, or do you just give up on actually attacking the skull that cycle and kill the hands? Because I've never really had trouble with the hands after the first cycle, just because then they're desynced enough. Them respawning is desynced enough from the skull's pattern that it doesn't matter anymore how much health they have. Oh, so just try to go straight for the hand as soon as it appears. Okay. So you do have enough time to kill it no matter what then if you just go straight for it. Yeah, beyond that, I just feel like getting a better time is just going to require grinding out practice on specific worlds as far as memorizing how many spawns are in each layer and what all the optimal places to stand for the fights are. That all adds up to well more time than the ice armor costs. It's a required motivation to grind practice. Well, there's some layers where memorizing the spawn counts matters more than others, like like every one of the vampire layers in Mountain of Souls. A couple of them I am starting to remember though, like I know most of the purple vampire layers are 4. Yeah, 4 to 6 is most of the layers in the game. Some awful ones that have 8, I think, like one of the bat layers with some grandmas. If I ever had to actually choose one GDQ to go to, it would be summer, just because it's way, way closer to where I live. I can drive to Minneapolis in 4.5 hours. This is having to fly to the East Coast. Anyone hasn't played this game, by the way, you should, for no other reason that you get to talk to more goats in the first world. Yeah, we do remember her this time. We didn't remember her. It is, and it's not very long either, like just a casual playthrough. I would generally say would be like 10 to 12 hours for most people. A lot of fun kind of lore and world building that you just don't see in the speedrun because of how many NPC souls I'm skipping. Which of course will be our raid message. Hey Yoshiza. Thank you. It's actually a double PB night.